guys, it's Kelly from Cards by Christine here with you on a Sunday afternoon, evening, 5 o'clock Central Time. Central Time. We are doing take 2 of the Haunted Home Kit. So all sorts of issues were going on Thursday when I tried to do the haunted home. Made this beautiful thing, but you guys didn't get to see it. And just, I don't know. It just didn't go. So, we're going to do a take 2 where we're going to go through. So, like, it cut off as I was 20 minutes in or so, like, barely started. So, I'm going to go through the steps of that, but we're actually going to make an alternative because I can show you what this looks like, and we can still follow the steps. We're just going to make it inside out and make it a holiday house instead. So just a kind of alternative thing that you can do with this cutesy fun project, seeing as how we're going to remake it for filming purposes. So why not try something different? So this is how the house turned out, front and back, and then you know, all of the innards, the details of how it was created. And we'll go through creating it and the steps and all of that again. But like I said, we're going to make it inside out. So this time it's going to be craft, and we will kind of decorate it completely differently. So it's not spooky Halloween. We're going to decorate it with some icicles and all sorts of fun stuff. So stay tuned. You'll enjoy. We're going to put this one behind so you can watch it as we go. Is that still in frame? That sure is. Granted, we'll be looking down, but whatever. Okay, so let's see if this one is a little more successful. All right, so here we've got the 2 boxes. The one that almost is done and the one that's just starting. Take some of these things out. We can finish those up. Okay. All right, here we are again. So I learned a lot as I went in making the first one. So I feel a lot better about how this is gonna go, and I can pass on a lot of tips as I'm going. Things that I ran into the first time that didn't go so well, so that we do it better the second time. Let's see here, is this heating up? So you will need a hot glue gun. The structural integrity of the finished product relies on hot glue to hold it together. So that is a must. The kit comes with a roll of tear and tape, a skull embellishment, 3 wires, black dimensionals, a few glue dots, a bunch of pieces of printed and scored cardboard. Then we have some vellum embellishments. We've got some shutters, a door, some bunting, pumpkins, vellum window panes, a roof piece, a bone doorknob, a cat, and a spider. So most of the Halloween-esque pieces we will not be using. And we'll be bringing in some holiday-themed things from some either ephemera packs or DSP and stuff like that, just to decorate it in the holiday fashion. We also have some bats and a tree. Now the bats we will not use. I will show you how we use them in the Halloween version, just so you know how to use them if that's the version you're making. And also then some fencing. So those are the pieces. Now for the instructions, the first step is to take the pieces that have windows, and then we're going to punch out the laser cut window panes. And then for the Halloween kit, if that is what you are making, you are going to be, ouchie, I poked myself. You're going to be putting the tear and tape on the corrugated craft colored side. If you're going to be creating the holiday house, then we're going to be putting the adhesive and the vellum on the gray side. So right off the bat, you're gonna have to decide what type of house you're making, because first step, we already get into it. Now, that being said, after the live stream is over, you will have the benefit of, you can skip to the end, see how they both turn out, and decide what you prefer. Okay. So, again, here are our frosted window panes. This golden, like, it looks like the lights are on. Some of the alternatives that I saw did not use the like golden yellow color for the window, like for the glow in the window for the holiday house. I'm undecided yet, but I'm gonna punch them out first and see. So pop these all out. I'll bring the Halloween house back in. So when I made this, the first thing I want to tell you is there's not a right or a wrong way to do this, but the printed side of the yellow is more shiny and more vibrant. And then the back side is more dull and more of a light yellow. So you can choose which one you prefer. I had chosen to use the reverse side that looked more dull. I liked how that looked better. But there's no wrong way. Just make sure to choose what you want and keep it consistent amongst all the windows. So if you're going to be making the Halloween house, go ahead and put your tear and tape on the brown side and stick your windows down however you prefer. And if you're going to do the winter house, then we're going to use the tear and tape on the gray side. Now, one thing I saw on a couple of the inspiration, like, alternatives that I was looking up was that they kind of splattered some like white, so some snowflake looking splatter on here. So I'm thinking of doing that. I don't know, let's see here, vellum. Right here. So the spooky glow of the yellow, I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's Halloween-y, but I do kind of like just the plain vellum, and I'm gonna see how I might add some. Okay, so we need 5 windows, 6 windows. See how I can add some white snow to that, snow effect to that. Let's see here. These pieces. Okay, so this is just plain vellum.
If you want special vellum, I brought this vellum.
Oh. Ooh, okay, that's nice. What do we call this stuff?
That's this, it was part of an Almond exclusive. that came out in July of last year with the Season of Elegance. I think.
Oh, I like that. That already looks like it has snow on
Snow
it.
in it. Mhm.
All right, well, there you go. Chris just is, by the magic of TV, have pre-snowed vellum. And like I said, I don't think there's anything wrong if you're going with the holiday house for using the yellowish glow. But I am envisioning it differently. So I'm going to go ahead and use this instead. Okay, so let's see if we've got scraps enough. So here's one. I don't want to use the big piece if I don't have to. That'll work. Good find.
Would you like to know what else I brought?
This is just gonna kind of be like a treasure hunt. So absolutely.
Okay, so in case, I did find one sheet of this.
Perfect.
And I brought the Nests of Winter. Hopefully that piece of paper's in here. For
Wonderful.
you. If it's not.
We're gonna get creative, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so one.
Yep, it's in here. I brought the reindeer DSP. I
Wonderful.
brought gold and silver real
Ooh.
floral snowman paper that has snowman in it.
That's perfect.
Red and green glimmer, and then the Season of Elegance, okay?
Amazing.
They're all
We've got a
open.
grab bag of fun
Stuff.
things that we're gonna play with. Okay, let's see here. That is just big enough. I don't know if I'm gonna get that chintzy. I don't want to cut myself short. Okay, so we got this. We got this. And then we'll do this. So I was a little bummed by my technological error that made the video disappear after I filmed it. But like I said, I experienced a lot of like, I don't know, challenges in creating that I was a little frustrated by. The directions were fine, but the first run through of it, I made some like errors in how I interpreted the instructions. So the house needed to be structurally sound and not falling apart. So I kind of had to redo some of that, and you would have seen that in the replay of the live video, except for it kind of poofed into no man's land. So now I feel so much more confident in the second run that I can now do it better with you. So it maybe was kind of like, I don't know, a blessing in disguise, we could say. And yes, I am aware that I am 15 minutes live and I have not looked at the comments yet. So sorry, I'm about to find myself so that I can talk with you. Your videos. Okay, so I don't see where I'm at, but I see that there are comments over there.
Yeah, what goes over there?
I know.
Oh.
So
Where?
It's just so that it's less than this. It goes like this. Like, I like that. That's fine.
Ooh.
And then this one will fold back.
There it is. Special edition. Okay, sorry about that. Hello, hi Ann and Susan, Sherry, Karen, and Spikefast Racing. Watch on replay. The kit is cute. Yes. So it's funny how sometimes, like, you form an opinion of something in your head and then you see it either get put together or see it in person. And it just, like, I didn't think real much of this kit. I'm an October gal. Like, my birthday's in October, but I've never been kind of partial to the quote-unquote spooky Halloween. But this, as I was making it and putting it together, was so much fun. And I was a huge fan of it. And then when I got challenged to create it again, I was like, okay, so now am I going to redo the whole thing and have another Halloween house? Or should we go ahead
And now it
and...
came through.
Yeah, so fortunately, one of the helpers here in the hive, I was like, okay, so now the video is messed up and I just made the whole thing and I can't unmake it. So we're gonna need another one. And who was it? Rhonda had one that was arriving like that day or the next day or something. And I was like, great, because I don't have the kids this weekend. So like I knew I could find some time to come and do it. So that was just a blessing in disguise, and I thought it would be I had heard that there were some people who used the kit alternatively to make it into a holiday house. So I was like, well, that's cool. I can show the steps of how to create it. Show how you would do it if you wanted it to be a Halloween house, but also show an alternative way of doing it if Halloween is not your thing, because like Halloween wasn't really my thing.
And the deal we made with Rhonda, she gets to keep both of them.
And Rhonda for being just a blessing to us in helping make this happen, because I felt really bad. Like I felt kind of wasteful and like, okay, now I need you to order another kit so that we can do this again. And Rhonda's like, oh, well, I have one coming tomorrow, so she gets to keep the spooky Halloween. And yeah, that's the funny thing. She didn't really even want to put it together. She wanted it as a decoration, so she wanted it, obviously it had to be made, but she was totally fine with me putting it together. It's like, great. This is a blessing in disguise. So now she's gonna get a Halloween house and a holiday house. So let's do a real good job in thanking her for making this extra magic happen. And let's pray that the internet gods are in our favor and don't give me any trouble today. And Thursday I wasn't feeling, the kids have been fighting, you know, school germs and colds and yada, yada, yada. So my brain wasn't all that perfectly functional either. So we're just doing way better today. Today's a good day. Okay, so we're still going in and covering up the windows with our icy frosted snowflake looking things. Now I can't tell, it does look like this has a front and a back to it as well. So I'm actually going to, so when I did the Halloween house, I used the non-printed side forward so that it gave it a more muted look. It's a lot less noticeable on this vellum, but I actually want the printed side facing out of the panes, so it is a little bit more noticeable. So I actually have these on backwards, but thankfully they come off pretty nice and simply, and I'm just gonna flip that around. Again, I am making the holiday house, so I am putting the window coverings on the gray side, but if you were doing this for your Halloween house, you would be sticking your tear and tape and the window panes on the craft side, the basically inside of the house, so that you wouldn't be seeing all that scrap. Hello, Judy from Ontario. Thank you for joining. So I know I was trying to map out when I was going to make this fit, because I really wanted to do this weekend yet, because then I get the kids back tomorrow, and it is it's a crazy week for me. I've got 2 days of subbing, and we've got Valentine's Day in there and the 100th day of school in there, so I have some shirts to make, and it's going to be a crazy week, and I just didn't know when I was going to put this in, not to mention it's already kind of been punted a couple of times, you know, this Halloween kit that we're making in February.
It was supposed to be in October.
It was supposed to be in October, you know, Halloween. So I was like, okay, it's got to happen, guys. So I was thinking about what I was all up to this weekend and when it was going to happen, and I was like, 5 o'clock on Sunday, you know, competing with the Super Bowl. I'm sure this is way more entertaining than the Super Bowl. So thank you for choosing to spend your Super Bowl Sunday with me. I'm not missing the Super Bowl. Football's not my cup of tea. But who knows? You know, especially if you're from Kansas City or Philadelphia, I'm sure you very much care. And there are definitely football fans out there. This is the big thing, the big deal. Okay. So, step number 1 is putting our window panes in. So we have that done. This was the easy part. Step number 2 is when I started to fall off the rails with the instructions. Okay, oh no, sorry. Step number 1, step number 2, and then 3 is folding on the score lines. Okay, so like there's perforations or like, you know, fold lines. Now, again, I'm doing everything completely backwards. I am folding into the gray because on the holiday house, the gray is going to be on the inside. But of course, if you are creating your spooky house, you're just folding them in. So now I am kind of folding against the grain. I can feel that, you know, the way that I'm folding it right now to demonstrate the Halloween house is much more of a natural fold. So I have to work a little harder to fold it against the score as it was intended, but it's not impossible by any means. So fold and score, or not score, fold in according to whichever house you are preferring to make. Then we're also bringing in the 2 side walls. So folding these pieces in. And then for the Halloween house, oh goodness, early on when I unpacked, set this off to the side, in the roll of tear and tape, there was a little skull piece, which of course we will not be putting on the holiday house, but that will be for the Halloween house. And then there's these 3 metal rods. So these are made to have the bats. So here we have, I described this when I did the video originally. So it's definitely thicker than cardstock. It's not quite as thick as like a corrugated cardboard, but it's like, I don't know, it's thick. It's really nice. So like it stands up on its own, especially for this tree and the fence posts. But yeah, I don't know exactly how to describe what material this is for those of you that do not have the kit in your hands. But so we'll punch the tree out because, I mean, we're kind of there. I made a tree. We'll come back to that later. Okay, so we've got bats. Now, our holiday house is not going to have bats floating out of it. That would just be wrong. I saw some... Yeah, okay, that would be... I do not want bats coming out of my chimney for Christmas, but, you know, maybe you do.
Santa Claus would make it.
Santa would be very sad. Okay, so there are 6 bats and there are 3 wires. So if you are creating the Halloween house, these wires I learned are kind of hard. I don't have strong hands, okay? They're kind of hard to bend. But what I learned is that bending them against the like padded part of your take your pick tool really helps save your fingers. So I kind of just went back and forth and it was just so much more manageable to do it this way. Then for the bats, so they're going to come out of the house and then this, okay, so we've got 1. For the bats, they stick on with the glue dots. Where did I lose them? I'm kind of between 2 of the kits, so I don't, I had some left from the last one. I would like to just use those, but we know I lost those already, so. Okay. Well, anyways. No matter how organized you try to be, you just can never have everything exactly where it needs to be. So, to attach these bats, take a glue dot and stick it to the end of the wire and put it in the center of the batty guy. And then I took another glue dot and placed it over the top to stick the two bats together. And these bats are, so one's got like a wing that goes out straight and one goes diagonal. Oh, and then, yes, that's right. There's a glue dot that goes on each of the wings to hold the wings together. Whee! So you would do that 3 times to make the 3 bats for the haunted house. Now for the holiday house, okay, so there we have one. And it kind of shows 3 different, like, you're gonna bend these however you can and want to bend them. It's, to me, I couldn't do it a certain way that I was trying to do. I just kind of was getting whatever I could get out of my take your pick tool. So I chose not to be picky on how they ended up looking. But I tried to make one a little less wavy. Hello from Canada. I love football, can watch both. See, that's kind of what I figured. I figured some people would maybe like, you know, watch the house and the game with their partners maybe. Who knows? Some people maybe will just watch the replay. Like, it's all good. So this one I made a little more like stretched out instead of quite so loopy-doopy. Now, for the holiday house, I saw some people using bits of other parts from, you know, some like ephemera packs and some memories and more and stuff like that, and use some reindeer pieces, which was super cute. Loved the idea.
Or a little bit festive, stamp a stamp. A little bit festive designer paper pack.
A little bit
Had a
festive.
sled in it.
Oh yeah, designer had a sled. So there's all sorts of things you could use. I was looking through, and like here I could fussy cut some reindeer. So I'm not convinced that I'm not gonna do that. But I might not do it all right away. So that's a pretty tree though. So I think I can make that decision later. I really wanted to show you for sure, especially if you're doing the haunted house, how I learned to bend the wire without killing my weak little fingers and how to put the bat on. So we're gonna set these to the side now. I'm not sure if they're gonna make an appearance on the holiday house or not, but then you know how to make them if you need them for, well, if you want bats flying out of your haunted house or holiday house.
You can make a card.
Yes, you absolutely. All of the pieces that we're not using, like, okay, so if you're going ahead and making the holiday house, there's this super cutesy cat and a spider and some pumpkins. So all sorts of things that you can use for any other purpose. It's not like they need to go to waste just because you're not making the haunted house. Okay. Moving the bats off to the side for now. Where, you may ask? Well, where may I find a corner of my space?
Do you want me to take them?
It's fine.
You got it? Okay.
They're there. Okay, now we are bringing the house pieces back into play. And this is where the fun, not fun, really starts. Hot glue. This brought me back to my 4-H days. I used to be a lot more crafty than cardsy. And I learned in making the first house, I don't super have the patience for craftiness anymore. It was a little challenging, but it was a fun challenge and a fun blast from the past. Fun enough that I'm back to do it again. Okay, so if you are making the haunted house, this is going to be how you are bending your piece. So this part of the house stands out, and then the two windows flanked the sides. Then you would take the side walls and glue them here and here. And then the back panel would go and close up the whole shebang like this, okay? That creates this, okay? So you've got the front window, and then there's a big open space. That's where the door is gonna go, is brought forward. The two other windows are pushed back. Then you've got a side pane that is just house. Your three windows across the back, the side pane to connect it all together, and then that's an overview of the shape of the house, okay? So now we're gonna do it completely just inverted to make our holiday house. So we are going to attach, so, you know, I'm trying to follow these instructions, and this is where I wasn't visualizing it very well, but we are attaching the side. So this is the piece of the front. We're attaching it to the side. And again, we are going with the craft colored brown to have a neutral slate. In some other example, like alternative examples I saw, people were taking the kit, doing it this inverted way, but instead of the house being a craft colored, they were painting it, because it's, you know, it's got a very, not smooth, flat finish to it. So you could very easily paint and make this any color you wanted. Another fun idea that I had that I'm not exploring for this alternative, but I think it would be really cool. This totally gives me gingerbread vibes, being this, you know, cardboard colored, craft colored. So it'd be really cool to, you know, quote unquote, pipe it or decorate it with like frosting and candy themed things to make it like a gingerbread house. So I thought that'd be another cool alternative if you were looking to want to get crafty, but not really seeking the Halloween vibes. Okay, so now we are gonna put the window pane across the back. And this is just gonna close up the structure of the house. Then when we put the roof on, that's really gonna define the, like, kind of how that door piece pops out. That'll help bring that to life. Another thing I learned, I was struggling with the glue not sticking well, and hot glue is a like strong adhesive. Well, the hot glue gun that I was using has a high temp and a low temp, and it was on the low temp setting. So for this one, I kicked it to the high temp, and it is holding substantially better. Okay. So that is how you make the exterior of the house. Then to start building it into a home, we're going to bring in the roof piece. This roof piece, the first of the roof pieces is completely black. I'm going to flip it and stick it on. And now this is where we're really gonna start pulling it together. And this is really where I struggled with getting this to really work. With the hot glue and all of the like flaps and seams, and I struggled. Also, I'm hoping to, we're gonna have a pretty blank slate, so I'm hoping to be able to put some like wood textured DSP on here, but I think I'm gonna start just by putting it somewhat together before I get to that element. Yikesies. So it is helpful to know that there's like, I don't know, about a half of an inch overhang of the roof. And I liked to start on the roof line because the first time I started where the like room juts out in the front and it didn't line up very well, and there was a lot of ripping and tearing and doing over and sad faces and learning from mistakes, and we are promising to do better this time. So I'm going to put a little bit more glue down, and then I'll show you what that meant in a little more like sensical terms. Ooh, she's hot now. The other thing I've learned is to give the glue gun some patience, because if I moved on too quickly, it wasn't dried enough and hardened enough, and then it started to pull apart and create some seams and gaps, and we didn't like that. So, patience is a virtue. Ooh, she's smoking. Okay. So, this is what I meant by did a decent job centering. There's about, that's not quite half an inch, I would say, of overhang. So I started by gluing in this vicinity so that the roof could adhere. And now I've got these flaps to put adhesive or glue under, and then we'll really be cooking to get this thing together. This is, though, where it gets the most complicated because it is hard. First of all, it is impossible to show you what I'm doing. So right now, in this step, I am focusing just on not burning my fingers off. So you're just gonna have to trust me that, okay, I just put glue on that flap right there, and I'm pulling it into place and holding it together for a good 20 seconds so that the glue starts to dry and hold. I will do the same on the other frontal flap. And then the back flap at this point is really hard to access because of all of the other flaps being glued down already. So what I did was I just ran a run of glue along here and here just to, see, this was me not being patient. It's pulling away a little bit, so I'll have to reinforce that when I come back around to that. It is really great to have either a glass mat or a silicone mat, because most glue guns do drip, because it's so hot. The glue starts to just run out, and then if it gets caught on a silicone or glass surface, then it can just peel right off. And then as you go, it's best to pick the hot glue strings off as you go, because they accumulate and really make your project look messy, and sometimes they get trapped, so it's good to just clean them up as you go so that you're not full of all the stringies. Okay, so I'm just going to throw some glue into there and hold that down. And then I'm also going to reinforce this seam. Would the Stamp and Seal Plus work instead of the hot glue gun? That is a really great question. I personally don't use the Stamp and Seal or the Stamp and Seal Plus. I'm a liquid adhesive girl. Now, that would not be strong enough. I tend to think that the
fall apart after a while.
Stamp and Seal Plus would not be strong enough. Like, there's a lot of tension on these seams where the glue is holding it together. So I am inclined to think that the Stamp and Seal Plus would not be strong enough to hold long term. Like, I already had some of the seams pulling apart where I didn't leave the hot glue to fully cure and dry. So I would advise hot glue. Of course, you're more than welcome to try it, but I am thinking that that would not hold. Okay, so now we have this piece. If we were creating the Halloween house, we would fold on all of the score marks. You'd grab two strips of glue here. We would glue it there, and then this just slides over this awning area. And you'd also add some glue here and here and slide this on, and that's how that piece gets on. Now I'm going to be doing that 100% backwards so that we don't have any spooky colors. So we'll start with these side flaps. And then I think we might be done with the hot glue, if I recall. So this is kind of a challenge, and I didn't do the best on the first rendition of the house. I mean, it doesn't look terrible by any means, but you definitely want to hold this until it's nice and dry, because the more square you can make it, the easier it is when you glue it to the house to not have any weird angles or things popping out. So I'm going to give it just a few more seconds before I glue. And then what I did the first time, and I'm telling you, I didn't do many things completely right the first time, but what I did the first time that was right was I put the glue on this portion and then slid this on, because then there wasn't any extra glue in here in places that it didn't need to be. So I'm gonna do that again. And then just need to get so sorry, this is very hard to do and to do well and to show off as I'm doing it. So I'm trying to show as best as I can, but also kind of talk through what I'm doing so that if you are doing this kit, you learn from my past mistakes and don't have as many challenges as I did, especially when I did it the first time. I was feeling a little defeated, and then the technology gods said, you know what? We're just gonna give you a second try at that. Okay, so at this point I have unplugged my hot glue gun because I feel as though I think we have the whole thing together. So let me move that out of the way because it is piping hot. And I'm gonna give you a walkthrough of what we just created. Now, the Halloween one is fully decorated because I did that already. So I'll kind of walk through how that was done. And then, but basically I'm also showing off just how the whole structure was put together. So funny thing, I lost the pumpkins when I made it the first time, and so now I'm just going to take the pumpkins that we will not be using for the holiday house and putting them on the porch step where they belong. So now that it's all glued together, here's what it looks like. So here's it from the side, here's it from the back, the other side, and then the front. Now, for the Halloween house, and I kind of missed this in when I assembled the house just now. The bats go in this seam where we put glue to hold that on, but hot glue can kind of be re-warmed and remelted, so you could stick the end of the bat into the nozzle to pick up some hot glue and shove it down that seam if you are crafting along with me and missed it. But otherwise, the easiest way to do it is to just stick it in. So we've got 2 on this side and 1 on that side, and then you can kind of just fly them around where they look good, because that's super cute for the haunted house. So you put them in that seam before you close that seam up. The other things that we did to embellish this house, so we've got a whole bunch of punch out pieces. So the cat, the door handle, the roof awning, and the spider. Now be very careful with this, the tiny delicate little legs of this spider. All came out of that piece. Here we have the bunting. Oh my goodness. Okay, so punch that out. The door. And all of these shutters. So I am going to be using these, so I will punch them out. But just walking through how we used them on the house. So the first thing that I learned in doing is there is one set of shutters that is shorter and fatter, and that goes on this front window. So that's the one farthest to the right. So punch them out. The Haunted kit gave you black dimensionals. I don't think I'm going to be using black dimensionals for the holiday house. But basically, you put two dimensionals behind each of these shutters. They just fit. They're just the right width. And then you have them rounding out away from the window. So that's how you do that. They go across all three of the windows on the back, and that is the only thing on the back. And then they go across the two front windows, and then they also go on this top window. But of course, like I said, those are the different shutters that are a little shorter and a little wider. Other elements, we have dimensionals behind the door. And then once the door is centered under the front window, that gets the skull embellishment on the little knocker in the front window. The door handle, the bone, I put two glue dots behind, and then I used my take your pick tool to kind of curve it and lift it up as I was putting it down so that there was like a little gap or a dimension to it. The cat has two dimensionals behind it and is just off to the left of the door. The pumpkins have two dimensionals behind it and are just off to the right of the door. The spider has one dimensional behind it. I have it kind of stuck to the window pane, so it's kind of like lifted at an angle, and it's kind of crawling out from behind the shutter. And then the ghosty friend over here has a glue dot behind the mouth that is kind of coming out of the window, stuck to the shutter. Have two glue dots on the bunting here, and then two glue dots on the spider web there. This piece just gets adhered down with two strips of tear and tape. And then that's basically all that it took to decorate the house. So I'm going to put that off to the side now because that is all done. And we are going to get creative with our holiday house. Okay. So bringing this back in, I think I can get rid of, not rid of, but move out of the way all of these elements. We are going to keep the bunting, the door, and the shutters. Because, I mean, this house is looking naked. We're definitely going to need some things for it. All right, are we up for the challenge? So I was looking through, okay, I think I can actually take these things out of here as well. So I was looking through and I think I'm just going to start with the shutters because the shutters are pretty much a easy starting place. So we're going to put white dimensionals on the back of the shutters. So in this instance, on the black side of the shutters. And again, we're going to line them up to the window and have them curving out as they would look if they were open. Okay, so got low-hanging fruit. This seems like an easy starting point. Alrighty. I am using the mini dimensionals as well. So the black dimensionals that came with the kit are full-size dimensionals. And the full-size dimensionals just fit on the width of these shutters. So the mini dimensionals have a little bit more space to wiggle and not need to be quite so perfectly straight. Okay, so we'll take, I have like a 50% success rating on getting all of my schnibbles and stuff into the garbage. Definitely gonna have to do a good cleanup at the end. Oops, okay. Oops. Oh, goodness gracious. Marlene, I know you asked this question a long time ago and I kind of addressed it, but the instructions also show to use a hot glue gun. So I feel as though Stampin' Up! Probably would have used their own product had it been strong enough. So I have a feeling the hot glue gun is necessary. I don't think Stampin' Up! Sells a hot glue gun. Okay, let's get the rest of these shutters on. Oh goodness. Tight quarters here. I really like the vellum with the white snow look for the windows. I'm glad I didn't go with the yellowish look. Now, that definitely didn't scream Halloween to me. Like, yes, it looks perfect and great on the Halloween house, but I think this is gonna look more fitting with our snowy scene that we're going for. Okay, so last but not least, the larger of the shutters. For the top window. Beautiful. I love it. Okay, so we're making progress. Okay, this is going to be at least the template for the door. I'm not entirely sure. I'd like to find, okay, so here's where we start to get creative. This is a Memories and More card pack. So I'm just trying to like scour through what pieces could be used to, like here's a beautiful Christmas tree that could go, like if I fussy cut that out. Also, oh, there's 4. Okay, so I was talking about I could use the reindeer above the house. I don't know that I necessarily am going to do that, but it is a thought. This reindeer and trees could be used. The sitting reindeer could be used. These gifts could be used. So keep those out. And then in the bigger cards, I really liked, okay, I'm not doing a great job here. I really liked, okay, so this is a used pack. So some of these stickers could have been used. But Merry Christmas, there's some trees, very merry. So here's bigger reindeer. I could use some of those. I like these trees. And even on the Halloween house, there was nothing on the side, which isn't bad. But I'm thinking I want to somewhat fussy cut this out and have trees. So we'll see how that goes. I pray it's not going to be too painful. I'm going to, I think, loosely fussy cut. What's on the back here? Okay, so nothing I need. Now, the back has shutters on the windows, and that was all we had for the Halloween house as well. So I feel like that might be all we do for that. We'll see. So fussy cutting is take it or leave it. I used to kind of very much enjoy fussy cutting, not so much anymore, but you know, there's a time and a place where it's necessary, and this would happen to be one of those times and places. Yes, so Marlene, if you could have watched the video that poof disappeared into cyberspace on Thursday, I struggle bust with the instructions. I'm not gonna lie. I had to rip things apart a couple of times. So this was much smoother having done it once before and remembering what didn't go so well. Oftentimes, I think the instructions are pretty dang good. I'm not saying these instructions weren't good. I just struggled to follow them. So I had commented, because I did not know that the video was going to disappear. I knew that it wasn't being broadcast live because we were having some internet issues, but I did not know that it was going to disappear. So I filmed the whole thing, and then it just never uploaded. I don't know. I did something wrong. So I went through and did the whole kit as if it was being filmed for you guys to watch later. So I said so many times, like, learn from my mistakes. You know, I'm going to rip this apart and do it again. So yes, this was definitely easier the second time around, and hopefully easier that you guys could see me work through it and not even the first time I did it. It's kind of okay that that is lost in cyberspace. All right, let's see here. I was very, oh gosh, I believe it. I was very, impressed by the quality of the materials. Like, the haunted home kit, the house, the structure itself is really high quality. It's a good structure. And the embellishments that they gave for the Halloween part are adorable. So I was very impressed with the kit. And I don't have all of the stuff. Like, there were some things that I saw in some other alternatives that I would have probably used, aka I wouldn't be fussy cutting right now. So there are a lot of things with the ephemera packs and the memories and more and stuff like that that could have probably made this holiday rendition a little easier, but not to worry. Like, it's not bad. There's so many options, and you could even make the house very generic and like have all sorts of different props that you could interchange to make it for whatever season you want. It's pretty cool. And like, especially if you did just frosted vellum in the windows, you could easily have decorations that you just pop on and off of this thing. But I like the challenge of seeing what I can come up with for the holiday house, because not everyone's into Halloween. Like I said, my birthday's in October, but I'm much more into the autumn-y scene, not the Halloween scene. So I was delighted with the chance to try to give this a new look. Hello, Kelly. Thank you for joining. We've got the structure built. Now we're just trying to improvise and come up with a design for our, what we're dubbing, holiday house. And I decided it would be great to add trees via fussy cutting. We'll see how great of an idea that was. I think some of this is going to hang off the side, so I'm not sure if I'm even going to use all of this. I don't know. But there we go. Okay, so here are the trees. Oh, it's cute. I like it. So do we go like here and here-ish and then cut it off? I'm just going to start doing... Should I do dimensionals? No, I think we'll just glue it flat. Yes, so Marlene, I agree. Dimensional backs just cannot be contained. They go everywhere. Even when you try really hard not to, they end up everywhere. So I'm going to try to just center this. Stick this down, hold it for a couple of seconds, and then I'm going to trim off the excess along the edges. Oh, perfect. Love it. Okay, how can I do this side? Oh, okay, so that one corner wasn't glued quite tight, but then I overdid it. Okay, so now I'm also going to do the same thing for the other side. Because that's cute. I like it. I might not do it right now because I want to keep moving on. I don't know that I'm going to... Okay, so the sparkle paste is completely dried out. I'm thinking of adding some paste to like add some snow. We'll see. I've got ideas. I just don't know exactly what I'm going to do. Oh yeah, I was gonna do a roof. Let's see if I can find some room. So we were feeling like the wood pattern would be in here. Okay, here we go. Maybe like some of this. That looks promising. Hello, Sandy. Thank you for joining. I think you tried watching originally when we were just having such issues. So thank you for coming back. I pray that we're doing a little better this time. Actually, I haven't had any issues yet this time. So that's, knock on wood, we're doing well. We're doing better. Okay, so going to do some measuring. And then we're going to make the roof. Sorry, I just kind of like thwarted onto a completely new thing. We are 9.5 by 4 1/4. Yeah, that was a rough day for Alive. It didn't go. It just did not go. And it just kept spinning. But from my end, it looked like it was still recording. But I'm thinking what happened was I pressed something wrong at the end or publishing it or whatever. And it just disappeared. So I am so sorry about that. Okay, so we're going with 9 inches long. And then, no, it was not 9, it was 9 1/4. Dang nabbit-all. Well, these are lessons learned. So measure twice, cut once, right? We've been told that a time or two. Now, this is probably why I don't, do home renovations for a living or anything like that. Yay, Susan, I totally missed that. I am still working on making finishes to the Beekeeper's Guide, but a good enough version is out there. It is so helpful. I pray that it is everything that everyone needs, because I feel like it's a great and handy tool, and I think it will be very helpful in everyone navigating all of the places that Stampin' Up! Has products. Okay, so I am trying to make a roof here. It doesn't help that I cut it too short. I cannot believe I did that. That was so silly. Okay. Gonna mark that. Going to mark that. So Susan and anyone else that has seen or used the Beekeeper's Guide, did you find any products that you did not know existed? Because let me tell you, in making it, I sure did. I was like, oh, I've never seen that before. I mean, I'm getting more back into stamping than I have been in the past. When I was working at the museum, I really, and with 2 young kids. Now, granted, I still have 2 young kids, but I've kind of brought myself to a less stressful job. I just didn't have the bandwidth to be super involved in stamping. So it was hard. There were a lot of things that I was pretty unaware of. Dang, it would have been nice if that was just a smidge longer. We might be doing a little bit of piecemealing. But anyways. So I was like, wow, there's a lot of stuff that I did not know was offered. So that's been kind of cool to discover. Okay, so, despite the fact that there's a bunch of not quite perfect cuts here, I'm going to start gluing it down. Oh, goodness. Well, I'll be. Okay. Something about this home is just made to be struggle bus for me. So yes, Stampin' Up! Has a ton of really nice products, and now, thanks to the Beekeeper's Guide, hopefully we can access them all, know what we have, know what we want, know what we need. Okay, so need a little bit of trimming. Okay. I'm gonna need a few panels to piecemeal, including this nice little strip here that is still not wide enough. Oh, goodness gracious. This house is just going to be not the highlight of my Stampin' resume. Okay, so I'm not going to glue that down yet because I brought in the Frosted Edges dies. I think I want to make icicles to hang from the eaves. Now, it would not look right to have them hanging off the side because they would be going slanty ways. So I think just here, 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 and along the back. So I should be safe just to glue the little strip down. Have not decided the best manner in which to adhere or to create the icicles. There's many different options. Could do cardstock with Stella, cardstock with paste, the shimmer paper, I think is what I'm going to do. But lots of options. So if you don't have any of the things we're using, obviously you can use anything you want. Okay, so now we're just trying to disguise the fact that I did not properly cut. Oops. Okay. So now we need to, nothing is the right size, you guys. Hamana. So I feel like I'm going to cut this. Oh no! Don't tell me. Ah. Oh, goodness. Hey, look. I had a different sheet over there. Oh, you guys, bear with me. What a weekend it's been. Okay, we'll try this one. It's a little wider. Gotta love a challenge, right? Okay, now we're going to trim. Throw a little more glue. Okay. Oh, goodness. She's a little bit of a hot mess. I didn't trim that yet either. I'll do that right now. Okay, here we go. Now, I plan on using the glimmer paper. I need a stamp and embossing machine. So, where did I put that? Okay. Now, let's make some icicles. This is 9.5. In case we forgot. Because I, messed that up already. So I'm going to make 9.5 inches of icicles. Okay. I'm going to die cut this off the screen because I just don't have quite the perfect setup here. Sorry, I'm used to kits, so I'm not, with an exception of alternatives, I don't get real, crafty with my things. This is getting me all out of my comfort zone. Okay. Yes. Thank you for bearing with me during that break. The die does not cut that far, so I had to make 2 runs of it, and then I didn't want to overcut it, so I undercut it. So there we go. That icicle is not near as good as the rest of them. Call that good. Okay, now this is gonna go along the back. I'm going to score it so that it, oh my gosh, I have such a mess. So that it folds. And then I want to have some of a gluable track, but I definitely don't need or have enough room for that much. So I'm going to trim some of that off, that jump the track. Okay. Ah. Now, I would have been so smart to have done this before I did the roof, but I tried to at least leave a little bit of not glued down edge to just like swipe this in. I didn't do terrible. It's this little last piece at the end that that little piece that I forgot. Oh my gosh, this is so cute. I cannot wait to show you. Okay, so let's get some glue up in here. Okay, skim that bad boy back in there. And then I need a new glue. Is that possible? Here we go. Thank you. You served me very well. Oh my gosh. Okay, here. Holy shnikes. So we got a nice glob of glue. Holy man. You guys. Ah! Okay, so that was unintentional. Oh. Okay. Okay, there it is. Look how cute. I love it. So now, I need to just hold on to this for a minute while it kind of dries. Hi, Suzanne. Thank you so much for joining. We are embellishing the holiday house. Okay, so now I have... Oh! Okay, she's falling over. I have very sticky fingers. Okay, so now I'm going to use this piece of scrap, create a track to fold it on. Which is easier said than done with sticky fingers. And a glue bottle. And I just lost my cutting blades. You guys, I feel like the definition of a hot mess right now. Okay, so let's try this. Okay. Okay. All right, so then let's do on this side. So I did not fill in this gap where there's some missing glue or some missing paper because I didn't want it to look too much like a patch job, and I have an idea, so bear with me. Okay, so I'm gonna trim this up a little bit. Okay. I like it. Okay, sorry. That's what we got for now. I think I'm gonna trim this one off because this one looks just a little silly. One second. Okay, so now I want to take embossing paste and a palette knife. I really pray that this works because I got all these weird edges. And I'm just gonna kind of make it look snowy, right? we'll do the same on here. I don't know what I'm doing. I've never used the paste before, so anyone got any great ideas, feel free to shout them out. So it did help disguise the weirdness that I had going on there, so that's good. I'm going to do the same across the back. Also, very weird icicle on the edge, so let's trim that up a little bit. I don't know how I should be doing this, so I'm just doing. Okay. Now, I was also thinking of putting snow on the bottom of the trees. I'm getting a little hodunk crazy, I think. So I like that. I think that looks adorable. I'm going to do the same on the bottom here. I don't know about the door yet, so, you know, we're going to do this. I like that. Definitely gonna do the same with the trees on this side, but I haven't cut those out yet, so we're gonna skip that for now. Frost the bottom. We like snow here in Wisconsin. It's very festive. We got a nice dose of snow for all of the snow fans. I think we got about 2 inches maybe. It was more in the northern region, but enough to make it pretty. We didn't have any snow on the ground. Okay. So that's all the way around besides there. Now we're gonna have a real hard time with this bad boy. Oh, goodness. Yeah, so the shutters probably do need some decorations. I agree with that. I'm going to... I saw some wreath. I don't know if it was from an ephemera pack, I think, and I don't have any of them. Hoping to find a wreath to put on the door so I can put the door on. Let's see here. Christmas lights, those would be adorable, but a pain to cut out. Some presents, those would be cute. All right. Snowman, that's what I need. I need a snowman. This does not look like fun to cut. Okay. Trying to give it a big enough border that it's not going to be terrible fussy cutting. I really did not want to have to cut out all of those little branchies. Okay, so I'm going to put a snowman here. I like that. But I do think I want to put something on the shutters. So I don't know what color it should be. I was thinking red because of the red scarf and whatnot, but that's very bold and vibrant for this, you know, house that is very not vibrant. So I'm thinking I'm going to do like a crumb cake. Something plain. And I'm just going to take and draw lines. There's no rhyme or reason to it other than just texture. It's not super stunning. But you know, it's better than nothing. Uh-oh. So once you start to have ideas and know what you may or may not want to do with your alternative, definitely would say the snow is last. I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't needing anything else to cover up the roof alignment that I kind of botched up a little bit. So we're just having fun. Okay. Now we'll put the snowman on with some dimensionals. All right. So there, we got a snowman. Still need, I wish I could find a wreath. So I'm gonna keep looking. Where did I have, okay, snowman was here. No, penguins, those are cute. Okay, no wreath in there. So, okay, the door. The door would definitely be aided with a wreath. And I cannot come up with a wreath. So what I had seen was the door just completely flipped over with a wreath on the top and an embellishment to make a doorknob, and it looked incredible. So I would love to do that. I just don't know where to find myself a wreath. So I might put Chris on that and post an update if I can't come up with something real quick here. But in the meantime, I'm gonna put the other trees on the other side so I can at least do that. Because yes, if I just put a blank white door, that's just not gonna cut it. Oh, geez. Okay. Slow down your roll. I'm not gonna lie, fussy cutting the snowman was easier than the trees. That's surprising. Oh no. Okay. It's okay. I would love to see what this looks like with like fairy lights or illuminated, at least from the inside, through the vellum shutters or the vellum window panes, but some fairy lights on it would be really cute too. So as always, if you are inspired by an alternative idea and make your own holiday house or any other kind of house, please share. We would love to see what you create. All right, so we are on this side. Oh goodness. I'm running into my snowman friend. Okay, so I definitely should have done this earlier. I'm so sorry. This is really, really hard. Cards are a lot easier to make on camera than three-dimensional projects. So thank you for bearing with me. I also feel like something else could go on this side. I'm just, you know, the Halloween house didn't have anything, and that doesn't mean that I shouldn't have anything, but so I'm just striking out there a little bit. Okay, let's put you back down. Now let's frost the trees. Okay. Shutters on the back. I'm just doing a bunch of random horizontal lines. Sorry, guys. It is so hard to do things far away from your body, and I know my hands are covering everything up right now, so it's hard to show you what I'm doing, but I will show you what I have done when it is done. There. So just a little bit of detail on the shutters. Might come up with something for there. Right now it's not on my docket. Need to do the door, and I really want a wreath. We got some snow and icicles on the top. And then again, love to put something there. So, going to pick up just a little bit. And see if any inspiration hits. Otherwise, I might need to come back at you with an update in the end. Oh, so there was also the fence around it, which was cute. I liked the fence, but the tree as well. But I was thinking of frosting some frosting on the tree, though. Sorry, I'm getting updates. My little boy is sick, and he's with his daddy, and so he's just sending me some updates. But he's doing better now. So I don't know, like I could see frosting this, but at the same time I could see this not being necessary. So I think I'm gonna skip that and the fence, at least for now. I need to find my door. Where did I put the door? Oh, I found the door. Okay. So the door clearly cannot just go on just like this. I definitely need a wreath. And I don't know. I'm going to have to talk with Chris about what that looks like. or where I can find that. So with sick kiddo at home, well, at Dad's house, who needs to talk with me, and without the accessibility to a wreath at this exact moment, I think this is where I'm going to cut it for now. And I will come back to you with some photos in the event, so that you can see what it ends up looking like. But I think we're off to a great start. Let me know what you think, if you're impressed, if you like it. And I hope, let me find a little bit more space so I can at least show off what we've got. Oh no, glue sticks are falling. Everything's falling. Everything's sticky. Oh my goodness. Woo! We got chaos. So, technical issues prevented me from showing you this as I was making it. So I came back on to show you how to assemble the house and how to retrofit it to be a holiday house. But here is the Stampin' Up! Haunted Home Kit. And here is a 90% complete revamp of the kit to make it a holiday house that I will get the last finishing touches for and show off to you. I'm sure I'll have Chris show it off in her next live once it's done, but I will post pictures of it as well in the event. So, let's get me back. Thank you so much for your patience, for bearing with the original video that just didn't work out, for coming back and checking it out. I hope you enjoyed not only the kit, but the alternative. I cannot wait to show you what it ends up looking like. And I pray that you all have a great night, and sending lots of sunshine, love, and big hugs your way.